Okay, Rob is in the house. Can you tell us the backstory again?
So she's my coworker, and
Okay.
she came up to me about a month and a half ago, and she initiated everything, and we've been seeing each other since then, and
Okay.
it's been pretty consistent. She's spent the night a few times. We've had a lot of sex. Just
Yeah.
full disclosure. Earlier this week, she told me she was depressed. It was like on Tuesday night, I think. And so I drove over to her house to kind of hang out with her and help her feel better. And then she came over on Thursday. Uh,
Okay.
I have two jobs. She came in between my two jobs. And then, we had sex or whatever. And
Okay.
then yesterday I told her that I was taking a day off of work because my elbow is kind of sore.
Okay.
And she said that, or she didn't respond to that text. I said, well, hey, I'm going to be available, later today when you get off work, or
Okay.
tonight when I get off work, you can come over. And then she just didn't respond to that text.
Okay. So, is it okay if I ask you some questions?
Yeah.
Okay. And really quickly, for everyone's watching, just to give you a quick backstory, Rob posted on in the chat box that he's been with someone for a month and a half, and she just ghosted him yesterday, and he wanted some perspective on all of this. So, okay, so you both work together, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And basically, I'm going to guess that there was sexual tension between the two of you. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay. And would it be fair to say that most of the time the two of you got together, it's been sexual most of the time? Have you gone out on any physical dates? Have you gone out to dinner? Have you gone out to drinks? Have you done anything, or has it been Netflix, chill, and fuck?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically been like you said, Netflix, chill, and fuck. I mean,
Okay.
the first time we went out, we did go out, have a couple drinks, but it was only for maybe an hour, and then we just went back to my place. And yeah, you're right. You're the way you described it as mostly a sexual relationship. I would say that
Okay.
that's fairly accurate. Though, I
Okay.
mean, she
So,
has. Go ahead.
okay. So, and by the way, I want to give you your props. You are in the real hot seat here because we have mostly women watching this channel. So you might be judged, you might be criticized. I want you to know that. But I want you to own your sovereignty for a moment, no matter how else anyone views you. Okay.
Okay.
So let's just be real here for a moment. This was, for lack of a better word, a friends with benefits relationship. I mean,
Yes.
or hooking up, maybe
Yeah.
more so, because I'm not even sure the two of you are really that good of friends. Is that true?
I would. You're probably pretty accurate to describe it as a
Yeah.
friends with benefits. I mean, she has confided in me in the past, and gotten really emotional with me, and told me just vulnerable things and stuff like that, and cried in front of me and stuff like that. So I would say we have had moments where we do connect on kind of a deeper level, but for
Okay.
the most part, it's been mainly sexual. I would say.
Okay. By the way, folks, there is nothing wrong with this. Two consenting adults, you know, two consenting adults. But did you guys really talk about what are you doing? I mean, okay, and let me explain why.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
I actually, she went through a relationship with an ex that she described him as a narcissist, and
Okay.
she said he was abusive and stuff like this. And in the context of us seeing each other, she was still kind of going back and forth with him a little bit. And one day I mentioned that, it's okay that you're going back and forth. I understand it's an emotionally difficult situation, and we're more or less just friends with benefits. This is more or less kind of a transactional relationship. And she actually got really angry with me when I said that. She
I'm making a note
she
here.
she told me she was going to block me and all this stuff. She got very, very, very upset. And I thought the relationship was over at that point, because of
Okay.
how angry she was at me, because I actually used an analogy to describe the relationship, and she was very offended by the analogy. I
Okay.
described it as, consuming food at a restaurant. And I felt badly after I thought about it in retrospect, but I
Yeah.
was trying to make her feel better about her going back and forth. and telling her
Now,
what
let
I'm
me be clear about something, Rob, just so I have clarity. Was she having sex with you and she was also having sex with the ex?
Well, it was kind of complicated because she told
Well,
me
no,
that
that's a yes or no. By the way, that's a yes or no answer.
she
Did
told
she
me
have sex with him while
she
having
told
sex with
me,
you?
I think yes,
Okay.
but she would tell me that she didn't want to have sex with him and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And she was
Well,
trying not to.
so what you're saying is it's possible that she was having sex, but saying, I didn't want to have sex with him, but still did. Okay. So
Well,
let's, all
she
right.
said she got off on denying him because of how he treated her.
Okay.
She said,
Well,
so,
that's a whole nother hornet's nest we can open up. But let's now talk about you, my friend. Okay, and you've got to be willing to handle some tough love here for a
yeah,
moment.
I can handle
So,
it.
okay, so you went into this. From your perspective, this was a friends with benefits relationship. So let me ask you, yes or no? Do you want to be in a fully committed relationship with a woman in the future?
A woman, any woman,
Well, I mean, the
or
woman you
this
love.
woman?
Okay. Well, let's exclude her for a moment, okay? Do you want to be in a
Absolutely.
fully committed relationship with someone? Do you
Yes.
think okay, do you think the best way to enter into a relationship is to start as friends with benefits, or is it better to do something more clear about the intention and not just be about having sex?
I think it's probably good to have a clear intention.
Yeah. And now it sounds to me because by the way, I want to read to you what one of our Billy Holt says. Well, there you go, Rob. Friends with benefits. That's why she ghosted you. So did she ghost you the minute you started to frame the relationship as friends with benefits? Was that the trigger that caused her to ghost you?
No, that was actually a kind of an interesting situation because, like I said, she got really angry and she
Okay.
told me, "We're done. You
Okay.
ruined the relationship." She told me all this stuff. I'm blocking you.
Okay.
I could go on and on and on. She was
Okay.
very, very upset. And I tried to console her. I was like, "Well, look, I didn't mean it like that, blah blah blah." I was trying to console her. Um and I assumed the relationship was over at that point because
Okay.
of how angry she was. And then she texted me 2 days later and told me that I was giving up too easily. And I was like, "What do you mean?" I was like,
Well,
you, you
let's hold off for a second. I want to giving up too easily. Let's
yeah,
giving
she's
up.
like, "Wow,
Okay,
you
but
give up
no,
too
no, no, no.
easily."
I want to go back to the other thing. So, can you understand why a woman might get upset if she thinks it's only just sex?
Yeah.
Okay, so in all
And
fairness to her,
I also told her like, "Look, you know, based on the way that I reacted to this situation, with you getting all upset with me and me trying to console you, obviously I have more respect for you than just wanting to have sex with you, period." You know what I
okay,
mean? So, I do care about her as a person, and then earlier in this week, she told me she was depressed and I went over there and I hung out with her. I didn't even really want to go. I kind of just wanted to go to bed, but I said, you know what? I'm going to make a sacrifice and I'm going to go be with her because she needs somebody right now.
okay.
So I do care about her.
So she gets offended, and then she comes back and said you gave up too easily.
Yeah.
I'm going to speak now from how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
36.
36. Okay. Um, can you just for the moment imagine that I'm your big uncle? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm your father's brother, and or your mom's brother, and I'm going to be your uncle here for a moment, okay? And I'm saying this with genuine care in that sense that like, look, nephew, if you want a fully committed relationship with someone, somebody that you can go and do social activities and hobbies and mutual interest and spend time with family and friends and travel together and have amazing emotional and sexual intimacy with a partner, then it's important to go in with the intention of, I want a fully committed relationship with somebody. Okay. It's to have that mindset that you want to be in a fully committed relationship with someone first, okay? Number two, it means tempering my sexual urges as I build trust with this other person. And repeat that. Tempering my sexual urges while I build trust with this person. Now, I suspect in this dynamic, because the two of you work together, you had some level of friendship. Okay? True?
A little bit. I mean,
Okay.
like you said, there was sexual tension, but we weren't talking that much. You know,
Okay.
she told me she wanted to have sex with me the moment she saw me, actually. But
But your relationship, let me interrupt, is your relationship was built on sex, and it wasn't built on actually developing much more beyond Netflix, chill, and fuck. Okay. I mean, let's just be
yeah,
real.
that's true.
So her behavior is indicative. And by the way, she ghosted you 24 hours ago. That's not ghosting. Ghosting is disappearing for good. Okay. She's not, by the way, you're going to see her at work anyway. What we really have to address is the conversation that you want to have with her the next time you interact with her. And that's what I want to talk to you about. As my nephew, Rob, okay, I want you to stand in your power. I'll call it your masculine power, your male power, and invite, what do you want out of this relationship? That's my first question to you. What do you want out of this relationship?
You know, I suppose I just enjoy the friends with benefits thing, because to be honest with you, she's older than me. You know, she's 42, and she's divorced and she has 4 children,
Okay.
you know, and I'm single and I have no children and I've never been married. So from my point of view, it doesn't feel like I would even be I don't know. I just doesn't seem like there's long-term potential, because
Well, then, but okay,
that
so
makes
then,
sense.
dude, hear me out for a second. If there is not long-term potential, okay, look, I get it. If two consenting adults want to have a friends with benefits relationship, then go about it. But you messaged me first and saying she ghosted me and I was afraid I did something wrong. So you
Yeah.
went into most likely some level of shame, some level of embarrassment, some level of self-criticism.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, we don't have enough time to address the emotional effects of what's going on with you. But now that I understand the picture greater, is that you're engaged in a merely sexual relationship. And I can understand your rationale for saying, look, there are factors that probably don't make sense in being in this relationship, and she's a consulting adult and we can both, but at the end of the day, our emotions are factors that can have deep consequences if we go in to merely a sexual relationship, because there is emotional consequences that can happen for both of you. More so for a woman tend to be than a man, because a man can ejaculate and not have the same attachment as when a woman is physically intimate. So what I'm inviting you to do is step into your sovereignty as a man and do the right thing. And by ending the relationship, because if this isn't a relationship that has the potential of going anywhere, and I get it's easier to get, it's easier to, get laid by someone than actually forming a relationship. By making this stand, you are much closer to getting what you want. That's your uncle talking to you.
That makes sense.
So
I guess a part of me was kind of getting attached to the situation, I suppose.
yeah.
But I don't know if that was just because I really enjoyed the sex, or because I
Sure.
enjoyed like the validation, of being desired, I suppose. So
By the
it's
way, ladies who are watching this and guys who are watching, that was the most valid thing or not valid. That was the most vulnerable thing you said to be desired by another human being is incredibly, quite frankly, it's intoxicating. I mean, it's intoxicating to be desired by another human being. It's a human need that we all have of wanting to be desired by someone. So I appreciate your vulnerability right there. I'm also inviting you to step into, and again, you're welcome to do what you want, okay? And I know you're working 2 jobs, so it's probably hard to go out there and physically date and go through all the bullshit of dating that we all have to deal with. And by the way, your age demographic, I have a son who's 27. I don't envy, the dating marketplace for your generation. I know you're a millennial, but
yeah, it's bad.
It's crazy out there for both men and women alike. It's a clusterfuck out there. By the way, just out of curiosity, why do you watch my, is this the first time watching my channel, or are you a regular?
It's the first time. It just randomly popped up in on the sidebar. So I was just clicked it because it was live. And I figured, well, since it's live, I could probably get a little bit of support in the chat. So that's
okay. Well, you got some sympathy, but I'm going to be candid with you. Now that women have heard the story of this, they're not as sympathetic towards you. Okay. you did do a little bait and switch. Okay. But at the same time, you're a real human being who is experiencing a real circumstance. So let's talk about how you felt, the pain you felt experiencing the ghost right now. Talk to me about that emotional feeling.
It honestly just hurts, it's it feels like what you were saying earlier about being abandoned by your mom and stuff like that, and then triggering the anxiety and stuff like that. I can relate to that a lot, because my mom was like that. My mom had a lot of problems, and she wasn't really able to be emotionally available even for herself, but let alone for other people. So I think that just triggered a deep wound, like kind of what you were describing. But it's also triggers me in another way, because this has been a consistent experience with me for the last several months. I was kind of a loner for a long time. I didn't have friends or social life or anything. But then last year, women started approaching me at work, and there was actually this is actually the 4th woman who came up to me and gave me her number. There's 3 other women before that, weirdly enough. So, but all three time, or the 3 other women before her, I had kind of a similar experience with. We weren't having sex. Sierra was the first one I had sex with, but the other 3 women, it was kind of a similar experience of feeling emotionally abandoned, not feeling safe, I guess you would say, and then triggering these feelings of not feeling good enough. Like, I feel like, am I not playing the game correctly? Am I making strategic errors with these women that's causing me to not experience the results that I would like to experience? So it just triggers this thing inside of me that's like, you're not good enough, because if you were better or different, you would be treated better.
So,
and like,
I want to jump in, Rob. So first off, again, thank you for the vulnerability. Thank you for expressing how you're feeling. I really want to applaud you. And particularly the fact that this was something that happened from your childhood, and how this is, transitioned into your adult life. So I'm going to give you some advice right now. First off, just out of curiosity, do you watch any of the red pill videos out there, or the manosphere videos out there, and and the whole sexual market value videos and all that stuff? Okay, so
I go even further than that. I go all the way to the black pill. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Okay, well, I don't have enough time to get into that right now, because I want to transition into a real learning lesson for you. Of almost all of that advice, which is geared towards men, and it's trying to shame women at the same time, is incredibly toxic. Okay. Because what you're describing, by the way, they are, and they do work in a temporary capacity. Okay. A lot of this advice works in a temporary capacity. Now, some of their advice that's critically important: clean up your act professionally, physically, and emotionally. That is good advice, to clean up your act professionally, physically, and emotionally. But we're going to address the emotional because that's the most critical component here. And they don't do that in their advice. I want you to pick up a copy of this book called The Hoffman Process. Okay. I want you to make a commitment to me right now that as soon as you get off the phone with me, or this call with me, you're going to buy this on Amazon, The Hoffman Process. Okay.
Okay.
Now, this is deep shit. It's a workbook, and you're going to work on some deep shit that relates to your childhood. This is going to be Herculean work for you. It'll be easier to give up than actually do the work. It's easier to give up. But I'm telling you, as your big uncle here, The Hoffman Process, okay, on Amazon. You will get to the center of what your wounds and traumas, how it affects you as an adult. Okay. It'll be mind-blowing and mind-boggling. It's not going to be how to get a girl this way, or some black pill narrative, or, manosphere narrative out there. This is going to be how to heal here. Okay. Which will give you the confidence. By the way, you're already getting women attracted to you. You don't have any problems getting women. They're all coming to you. But they're coming to you from those wounded women are attracted to your woundedness. And you get what's known as dramatic relationships. You will end up in dramatic relationships. And what I mean is relationships filled with a tremendous amount of drama. Okay. And you don't want that. Okay. So I want you to do some healing. And with respects to this woman who has ghosted you, I want you to really sit and really think about, how do you want to treat this person going forward? Do you want to continue with friends with benefits? Then be honest. Okay. You're welcome to do that. I'm inviting you to step into your power and say, I don't want a friends with benefits relationship. I want a fully committed relationship where we do shared activities, hobbies, mutual interests, spending time with family and friends, traveling together, teamwork, building skills in our life, physical and emotional intimacy that actually leads to something, profound. That's the stand I invite you to make. And if you didn't memorize what I just said, go back, rewind this video at this very same mark, and listen to it again. That's my invitation for you, because this pattern, you're just, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Is this helping, by the way, Rob? Are you taking this in?
Yeah, it is helping, and describing the relationships that I've been experiencing as dramatic and chaotic, I think that's accurate. There was a woman that I liked her a lot last year, and it didn't work out, but
Yeah.
the communication was very poor. She was kind of harsh towards me at times. She didn't have sympathy towards me. When I tried to share something I was proud of, she would cut me off and tell me she wouldn't have sympathy for me. So I don't think it was a safe or healthy dynamic, so I think you're right in what you're saying.
Okay. So Rob, I'm going to give you one last bit of advice. This is going to sting a little bit. Okay. Okay. But I want you to know that it's coming from a place of love. Okay. So, I want you to clean up your place, because I can see what it looks like behind you. Now, I recognize you went online not expecting to, but here's why I want you to clean up your place, okay? For a couple different reasons, okay? First and foremost, when you walk into a room that's always clean, you will always feel better about yourself. I'm inviting you today to have an immaculate, clean home, okay? No clothes hanging from the chair. None of your shit out. Okay. Shit on the floor. I want you to clean your place. Okay.
Okay.
Because
All right.
cleaning your place is a metaphor for cleaning up the clutter inside of you. Okay. And I say this with sincere love. I invite, and by the way, always keep your place clean. You know, I know you were caught off guard. So this is kind of a little bit, might feel like shaming, but listen, I'm in the same boat. There are times I just let shit go, and that might have been the case. But I'm inviting you to do that going forward, because what I'm really asking you to do is clean up all the facets of your life from beginning to where you are today, because you still have 45 to 50 years at a minimum left in front of you. And there's nothing more amazing than having a great partner in your life to grow with, excuse me. And it starts by growing individually. So clean up your room, as Jordan Peterson would say. Okay. You know who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I'm
Okay.
very familiar
He would
with
say
the
that
concept.
because that's his first chapter in his book, I believe, or is one of the chapters in his book. And clean up your emotional life. Be honest with her and yourself. And maybe through this work, you're going to find a relationship you seek. That's my hope for you. Is this sinking in? Is this resonating? Please let me
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Hey, thank you for having the bravery to be on. The women were very appreciative of you. You got a lot of props through this conversation. So keep being you, being in integrity with yourself, and you might find the relationship you seek. Well, thanks
Well,
for being on.
thank you for letting me come on, and I appreciate you talking to me.
Oh, you're very
Have a nice
welcome. Keep
day.
watching. All
Thank you.
right,
Bye.
Rob, you take care. Bye now. Wow, what an amazing conversation. I had not expected that to happen. I think it took a lot of bravery for him to come on. I think I gave him a little bit of crap for his room, but it's just a metaphor. I hope everyone appreciates that. But most importantly, I want to give you an example of a man who is very genuine at 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 recognizing that he certainly has a wound from his childhood that needs to be addressed. And I hopefully the book will give him some of that. And again, all the books I recommend are listed below. I think also I invited him to be in integrity with her, be in integrity with himself, but more importantly, be in integrity with her. And be in integrity with anybody going forward, because and it sounds like he is. They're honest with each other. And by the way, I'm not surprised she ghosted him, because friends with benefits are not relationships based on commitment. They're based on sex, and relationships based on sex rarely ever go the distance. So get into the core of what caused you to choose this kind of relationship, to choose the fear, and rewire it. And that's my invitation for him. Okay. Well, thanks again, Rob, for being on. We give you a thumbs up. All right, folks, you know what? I think this will be a great place to wrap up this video today. It has been a true honor to have you on. If there's anything you'd like to share, post a comment below. I'd like to hear all your thoughts. I do my best to read all the comments. Listen, if you're watching the replay, give that super thanks if you got value out of this, if you got that far. By the way, check out all the links to schedule a discovery call with me to see if working with a coach is right for you, to follow me on Instagram, to join me in my group called Midlife Love Mastery. The books I recommend, my dating vows, are all listed below. Okay? And please, if you found value in this video, please hit that like button. Please share this video. Please subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell as well. And I'm going to wrap up this video as I always do. First off, give myself a big, gigantic Jonathon bear hug of self-love. I'm going to reach into the camera and give you a hug of love if that's okay. I'm going to ask you to turn to someone, a pet, a teddy bear, a pillow, and give it or them a hug of love, because hugs are a great source of love. And let's face it, we could all use more love in our lives. I want to thank Rob for being on live. I want to thank the Jonathon fan for being on live. I want to thank Sharon and Matilda and Catherine and Artie and Arena and Gloria and Rachel and Lighthouse and Beach Lover and everybody who donated today, and Catherine and Rhonda or Kathy and Betty and Jane Spitfire and Billy Holt was in the house, and Power of Chi and Julia Ford and Jennifer, Aaliyah. Thanks, everyone. Big hugs to you all. Have a wonderful fab weekend. Take care. Bye now.